Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today's video is going to be my custom singles palette for January, February. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. If you're into eyeshadow palettes, Sézane, Catrice, and getting the use out of your makeup the way I am, then definitely stay tuned because today I'm going to tell you about some singles that I have been using all throughout December, and now that it's January, it's time for me to select some new shades. So that's what I've got going on in today's video, including swatches and looks that I created with the singles I was using this time round. And I have a bit of an announcement because I thought we could spice this video series up for the new year. So if you would like to stay tuned to hear what I have planned for you, then definitely keep on watching the video. And in case you are unfamiliar with the content and this is your first time watching me, hi, my name is Maaike, I live in the Netherlands, and I have fair skin with a cool neutral undertone, and that greatly skews my makeup preferences. And I've been in the game for quite some time, more than a decade, so I know exactly what I like. So if you'd like to join the Snow Angel Club, then definitely click subscribe down below. So yes, custom singles palette of December, January. I mostly used it in December though. I was gone through like using most of my palettes already towards the end of December, and I already told you when I showed you my Glamshop singles that there weren't a lot of mattes in here. So I told you last time that even though I wanted to use as many of the shades I could from this palette, I knew I would not be able to get to every single shade. And also that I would have to rope this into some palettes I was using that month, just so that I would be able to try as many of these shades as possible. So there's definitely a couple of looks that I did. I think there were like 3 looks I did with just the palette itself. And then there's also a couple of shades that I used while I was doing some other looks as well. So if you're seeing looks that you already saw in a previous video, that might be right because some of these shades I roped into some of the older palettes that I wanted to revisit for December. So I'm going to chat to you about the looks I did in a minute, but let me just tell you a little bit now about how I feel now that I've tried pretty much every single formula that I have in here. So even though I didn't try every single shade, I definitely made a point of ensuring I tried almost every single formula that was in here. So here I have, this is a crystal shade, these are the marble shades, these are multichromes. These are standard shimmers, I believe. No, these are turbo shimmers, I believe, turbo shadows. Then we have some mattes here. We have some velvets, and then we have some regular shimmers sprinkled through it as well. So the only formula I didn't use were the marble shades because those are a little bit different, and I wasn't really sure what to do with them. So those I definitely need to rope into one of these palettes. Maybe I can make this one like center stage. I remember it being a very dark shade when I swatched it, so that could be interesting just to see what it would do and put it in a like something I want to do now. But I did use all 3 of the mattes. I used 2 of the multichromes. I used this velvet shade. I used that crystal shade. I definitely used these like taupey shades that I've got in here as well, because we all know I love a good taupe. I ended up using this shade in a look as well. I remember going into some of these turbo shimmers as well. Now, since a lot of the names of these shades are in Polish, you're gonna have to go do my original video when I put this together to know what all the shades are in the order in the palette, because I do not remember for the life of me, but I did film an unboxing when I actually got these shades in, and then I already also showed you the swatches. I'll make sure to link that video in the description box down below, so if you want to see exactly what shades I have in here and all of the swatches, then I already have that done for you. So yeah, let me tell you a little bit about my experience using these shades. So overall, I'm very impressed with the way these shades came together. They are very intense, very foily, but still very easy to work with. Even something like these multichromes, like this is quite a flaky multichrome, but it worked really well if you were to pack it on and like blend it out a little bit. The turbo shimmers are amazing, and I was also really impressed with the velvet shade because it looks like a standard shimmer in the pan, but this is definitely a different type of shimmer that I haven't seen before, where when you apply it, it definitely looks like that shine that velvet has. If you've ever worn like, oh, I'm actually wearing velvet. I'm wearing velvet sweatpants today, and that sort of shine that velvet has, I felt this navy blue also had. So that was definitely a very interesting twist. But yeah, even if things that look very flaky and sparkly were not glittery at all, it was just really intense high shine shimmer. Now, if you have more mature lids, these are maybe not the kind of things you like because the formulas are a little bit thicker and creamier, which could end up creasing really easily. Now, I didn't have a lot of issues with these creasing on me at all. I wore these several times for like full days of wear, and probably because I double prime my lids, I had no issues there. So all the looks I did, I really end up loving, and yeah, I just have some really stunning shades in here. But now that I've tried these, it's time sometime in 2023 to do a bit of a eyeshadow singles reorganization, declutter some, keep some, and definitely rope these into some of the other things I already have. I think that by now, I actually have enough like blues, purples, and greens that I could make dedicated palettes just for the blues, just for the greens, and just for the purples. And I think some of these can definitely go into that as well. So that's perhaps something that I want to do in the future. So yeah, I was really happy with the way the looks came out. So the first time I tried this, I used this multichrome here and also this navy up here. It's like a steely blue more so than a true navy. And I used those two shades to enhance the look I did using my Urban Decay Naked Smoky. So I used some multichrome liners for this. I did this look for an office Christmas party, which was Back to the Future theme. Then I sort of went like, we sort of went like robots was the idea with the team that we had. We won Best Dressed, so I think it worked in the end. So I used that multichrome to do some sort of like half cut crease kind of thing. And then I just used some multichrome liners from Kaleidos along with it. And then I also used that shade to sort of deepen up the outer edge in the lower lash line, just a little bit. So yeah, those two shades were very successful and I was very impressed right off the bat. And then on Christmas Day, I used my Vintage Vamp little quad from Charlotte Tilbury, and instead of the shimmer that was in that palette, I decided to go in with this crystal shade. So this is called the Crystal or Crystallized formula. I only have one of those, but it's such a pretty rose gold, and I thought it would go perfectly with the vibe of the Vintage Vamp. And then I just threw on a very bold lip, and I thought it made for a perfect Christmas Day look. So that was the second look I did, using just that one shade. And then I wanted to make a point of using these three mattes. So the first look I did, I centered it around this matte. And now, do I remember what shimmer I used with it? Yes, I went with something that was a little bit more neutral. So I actually went in with some of these like taupey shades to create the rest of the look. And then you just see that everything here that is a shimmer, especially those turbo pigments, they're all duochromes. They all have some sort of flip, some different quality to it, which is really interesting, and I really enjoyed it, especially this shade. Now, I do feel that I've tried it that these two shades are too similar. So I'm not sure, even like in the pen, you can already see perhaps a little bit. But this is a little bit more of like a purpley base with a blue flip, and this is more of a cranberry base with a blue flip. But in the end, I felt that these were more like topper shades, possibly inner corner highlights, but some of these aren't fully pigmented, I felt. So I tried to rope those in, and they didn't create the dimension I thought it was going to create all over the lid, topped over some of these other things. And then for the second look I did with the mattes, I used both of these like blue tone mattes. One of them is more of a periwinkle and the other one is more of a teal, so it didn't fully go together, but then I used this purple and this blue to create a bit of a halo eye kind of situation, and I thought it looked absolutely stunning. I mean, that purple was just screaming my name, so I knew I wanted to use it, and I love a good vibrant blue. Now this pulled a little bit more vibrant than I had expected. I thought it was going to be a deeper navy, but I did really like the way that look came out. And then I just needed to whack on something really quickly before I headed out the door one day. And then I roped in, I think I actually used this shade and like some other like multi-chromes. I put this on the lower lash line. And I think I put that lighter thing in the inner corner or something like that. And I was very happy with the way that came out as well. So just an all duochrome, multi-chrome look, and that worked too. Just all shimmers. So in the end, I'm really chuffed. I got to try some Glamshop singles for sure, but these I definitely need to migrate into some of my other color stories so that it's easier for me to to find these shades. And this palette, the reason why I can't look up the names is that this palette is so magnetic that I can barely take the shades out. So that's why if I want to keep these nice and secure, I need to mess with them as little as possible because of this palette. So those were the Glamshop singles that I played around with in December. I hope you can tell how excited I am for this. And I thought, because I love playing with my singles so much, but these videos don't get a lot of views, I thought I could spice things up a little bit and create a part to this video that hopefully gets more people to watch it, but also to make it even more enjoyable for the people who are already watching this series of mine. So I'm gonna go down to the floor in a minute and I'm going to be creating my new color story for the next month. But I thought that that's where you guys can also come in. So I'm going to have a bit of audience interaction. Maybe some of you remember that I had a bit of a task for my audience for a giveaway I ran in August when I asked all of you to show me your eyeshadow palette collections. And then I did a video about that. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if my viewers picked the theme for the next custom palette, step 1, and step 2, what if I also ask people to show me their custom singles palettes and like show me mock-ups, maybe using their singles or their palettes or images from websites that they found. I mean, everybody can participate, I'm sure. So what I'm gonna be doing from now on is to have a giveaway attached to this video, and there's going to be a gift card that you can win, and the only thing you truly have to do is to come up with a theme for next month's palette. That's all you need to do. If you want an extra entry, you can add your mock-up of your custom palette. Like I said, using singles, using palettes, using images online, whatever you want to do. I'm going to set up a Google form, which you can find in the description box down below, which is the only way you can enter this giveaway. So it's hopefully going to be the easiest way for everyone because everybody should be able to fill that out, regardless of what kind of account you have. Nobody has to email me, but I will still have your contact details depending on how I set up the form. So that form will also include all of the instructions on like what I want you to do in order to like show the mock-up, because I had some issues with people sending me pictures that could possibly lead to people doxing themselves if I inserted them in the video. So those things I either left out, but people were pretty upset that I didn't show the images for long enough. But that also had to do with image quality and things like that. I just couldn't do that because images were just not always the best quality, the best lighting, whatever. So I'm going to give you some instructions. So if you do want to do a mock-up, there's going to be instructions there. But I wanted to make sure this was as like foolproof for anyone. So the only thing you truly have to do is come up with a theme. Like I said, you can enter using the Google form down below. And most importantly, what can you win? I will just use a number generator to pick the winner. It's not going to be about like the best mock-up or anything like that. We're not going to have a competition, people. We're not. But you can win a $25 Sydney Grace gift card. I have found that they do gift cards, and I thought they are my favorite singles brand, and this way I can hopefully spread the joy for single shadows even more by giving people this, because if I do also $25, it should pretty much cover most of your shipping and handling fees if you're in the EU. And I know so many people who watch my videos are also in the EU, want to try this brand but find it too expensive, and this way you would only have to pay for the product. So I thought that could be like a nice deal, spreading some joy, and the idea I have, if this is popular enough, is to keep it going for the rest of the year. So there's going to be a monthly giveaway attached to this video, but I'm not going to label the video with giveaway anywhere. So you truly have to be watching my videos to find it. That's the way I'm gonna have it planned out. So yeah, I hope you would like to all enter. It's completely open. You come up with the theme that I'm going to be building a palette with next month. I thought that could be fun. And then if you do send me some images of mock-ups you've made, then I will discuss those in that video as well. I'm looking so much forward to it. So let me get down to the floor and build myself a new customs palette, and then I'm going to leave my faith and what I'm going to be using in terms of eyeshadow in your hands from now on. So yeah, let's just get down to the floor. Welcome to the floor. So now we're going to create a palette in here. I haven't done this in a while, but this is the little Nabla palette that I've been using, and it kind of houses like 6-ish kind of shades depending on what sizes I pick. And I've already decided that I'm going to try and create a navy sort of color story, and like pull in some fun colors, because I actually want to do a couple of looks for you in February, and I think I will have to film those in January. And I think I could put some shades in this palette to make that happen. So let me see what we've got going on here. There are some blues in here, but that's not the kind of navy that I want. So that's Lethal, some greens, some purples and pinks. And this is my newest one from Lethal. I've already uploaded a short with some swatches of these, in case you were wondering. Now, I was thinking possibly of using this Glamshop shade in there. This is called Nightmare, I believe. Can I take it out? Oh, these are in so... Like, this magnet is so strong. Yes, this is Nightmare from Glamshop. So we're going to put that one in here, because I think that will be a nice shade for smoking things out. Ooh, maybe this. This is Sydney Grace. Let me just go through them really quickly. This is ColourPop. More ColourPop. Ooh, maybe that Antimatter shade. I remember swatching that in my ColourPop singles swatcheroo that I did in December. Oh, I'm sticking my nail in. No. I'm making a mess. So I think I want to put that in. I do have a very pretty navy shimmer in here, but I think I actually have some other navies that I like better in some of my other palettes. So let me see what's here. I don't think I've ever used any of these. This is too bright for what I want. This is Nocturnal from Cleona. It's also not exactly what I want. No, maybe this. What's this? Ursa. That's perhaps a little too steely blue. That's not really what I'm going for. Going more towards like the midnight blues this time round. I don't have any navies in my MAC and Makeup Geek palette. This is just teals. And then of course here we have my blue-green palette. So maybe we need to sort of do this. And then here we have my Multichrome palette, so maybe I can stick in a Multichrome. But here we have my Cool Tone palette. I've got a really nice like row of navy steely blues here on the end. Let me pop this here. And then I have that Sydney Grace shade here. These are also Sydney Grace, by the way. So I'm thinking this really nice dark navy matte. This is Sydney Grace Indian Love, and it's a better shape. Like the Nabla one is a bit big. What's this? Because that looks pretty. This is Prussian Blue from ABH. What's this? Magic, Blue Magic from Colored Rain. But I'm thinking this guy. This is Let's Cuddle from Sydney Grace. And then maybe a lighter shade. Yeah, do I want that? I also like the look of this. This is Slade from Sydney Grace. It's more gray toned. And I have Deep Water from Sydney Grace. Oh, that's perhaps pretty similar to this, but this is from the new batch that I have, so I may not have to keep both in the end. This is Abyss, which is a satin, so I definitely don't want that. I'm going to put Deep Water back in, because I like it, but I think it's a little bit plummy. This is more of a true navy. And this just has a lot of teals and greens in, I see. And there's really not that much blue in this palette. I thought I had more blue. Oh well. And then I think I put that shade out that I wanted from this. Yes. But don't I have... I do. I have one of those like flippy shades. So this is a blue with like a white with a blue undertone. This is by ColourPop. It's from the Blue Moon palette, in case you were wondering. Not sure this is going to fit, though, because I don't think there's going to be another shade that can fit in there, because that's a bit smaller. But maybe, I was thinking, what I might also do is to pop... oh, now I'm putting this one back already. Hold on. This I'm not going to select. Maybe this. Oh, you're not seeing this. This one from the Multichrome palette. That may be pretty. Is this Glow? What shade is this again? This is a Multichrome. This is Glow from Cleona. And that way, I have some dimension as well. Even though this looks nice too. Let me see what that is. Take this one out. This is the shade, oh, this is Tower. This is one of their pastel multichromes. But it's a bit purple, perhaps. I don't love that. For this time. Like, I'm going to use it at some point for sure, but not today. Anything else? Let's see what this is. Royalty, that's too purple for what I want. So I don't think I have anything that's a true blue in this multichrome thing. And by the way, for people who are worried, the Terra Moon's shade repressed just fine. I'm thinking this. This is by Terra Moons. This is Moontide. This looks stunning. And it gives a bit more dimension. But what shade should I take out? Because then something else needs to go. I want to keep the matte in. I think I'm going to take out the ColourPop shade. Because even though I like it, I don't feel it goes with what I've got going on here. So let me put that back in. Gonna save you for another day, buddy. But yeah, I think this way we have a bit of everything. Yeah, I think so. So this is going to be it. Nice navy tones, just one matte. I know this is a very deep, dark, sort of navy-ish kind of shade. I remember that from swatching it out. And then I have the Terra Moon's Moontide, and I haven't used any of my Terra Moons yet in one of these videos, so I think that will be interesting. This is a ColourPop shade from the Blue Moon. Don't remember what it's called. I just pulled it out of the palette. Prussian Blue from ABH for like that grayish blue moment, and then a really nice dark navy shimmer from Sydney Grace. This is Let's Cuddle, and then Cleona's Glow. For that inner corner highlight, and I think this is going to be nice and reflective, and this I think will be better for topping over these things to lighten and brighten it than this guy, because this one I remember being a little bit wider in its base, and this is more transparent because this is one of the glittery multi-chrome shades that they do. So yes, I've built myself a new customs palette. Yay me! So stay tuned for next month when I will be showing you this, and leave me your suggestions in the Google form that you can find below. So that's the color story that I've selected. I still need to make this selection as I'm filming this part, so I hope I came up with a cool color story, because as I'm filming this, I have not yet decided what I want to do. So I hope I can come up with something good. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed watching the video. Please enter the giveaway to spread some love and to get more people to get more use out of their singles. That's definitely my aim here. But I thought I could like have a bit of an incentive there. You know what I mean? So thank you so very much for joining me today. Thumbs up the video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more by me. I make several videos every single week, and I've got a lot more exciting things planned for you for the future as well. So I hope you'd like to stay tuned, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.